This is I Only Touch Greatness Remix. Scan the code and follow.
So, one of my favorite songs of all time, and you know, it slipped my mind for a while, and I found it again about 45 years ago, and you must have put it on Spotify, but it's What You Gonna Do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Shout out to Method Man DMX. You know, that was a crazy record, man. DJ Silk made that track. Shout out to DJ Silk, man. I remember riding around with that beat for like a whole week before I even told, you know, Method Man or anybody about it. I just wanted to come with something catchy for the hook. So when I seen that guy doing that video on that record, and he was saying he too sexy for a shirt and all that, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, that's it right there. You know what I mean? So
what was the buzz like about that song?
Oh, it was one thing about the buzz to that record. It could be dead in the club, right? Everybody could be sitting just bored at the tables or whatever, minding their business. As soon as you hear that dun, 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 everybody gets the fuck up and runs to the floor. And you know, having that feeling like that was it's unexplainable to when you see people react to your music like that.
Especially being a West Coast artist with 2 or 3 East Coast features on it, but it sounded like a West Coast beat. Your beat maker for that, you were saying, is from the East as well.
No, Silk is actually from Chicago. You know what I mean? He was born in Chicago, but he's been on the West for a very long time. And I've been knowing him for a long time. Like we did a project with Street Institute, and with me, him, Cam, and I got my boy MG. We made a record called My Name in Your Mouth All Day. And that's when I first started working with Silk. But we've been down for a long time, man. And when he came with that track, I knew I had something, you know, that it could be big, you know. So I just wanted to make sure I put the right vocals on it. As you can see, like when it comes to my verse, I wasn't like trying to battle them. I was trying to think of some creative shit that you'll remember. You know what I mean? And that's why I was like basically telling a story that you'll remember, you know?
And we still remember it to this day.
Yeah, you killed it.
No doubt. I appreciate that, fella.
How come the Hotter Than Fish Grease never dropped in 2000?
Oh, Hotter Than Fish Grease actually did drop, but after I left Def Jam Records, Hotter Than Fish Grease became the Crip Hop album. So it was just a change of names of that project. So it went from Hotter Than Fish Grease, and then in between that time, I went to E40's house and we made a record for his album. And that's when I came up with Fuck Hip Hop, This Crip Hop. So I was like, hey, man, I'm going to name my album Crip Hop. You know what I mean? So, and then after the interview with Def Jam, because they tried to make it like they dropped me from the label, but I was the only artist that didn't get dropped from the label. You know what I mean? So they actually went back into Double XL and, you know, changed their statement that they made told the truth. You know what I mean? So
were you in Def Jam Vendetta?
No, I had left. I was already gone.
You're already gone at that point? Yeah.
Dub C, it was like I left the label and then they signed Dub C after I left. Like they try to keep someone from the West Coast so they wouldn't have shit on their face or whatever. But they end up fucking up Dub C's project too.
Yeah, and I love Dub.
Like the first week of his album sales, they fucked over like 100,000 units of his CDs, and they didn't listen to it at the test press, and they over 100,000 of his CDs was fucking basically, you know, scratches or some bullshit to where they was useless.
Really?
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was totally their fault because they didn't even listen to his album in the mastering session.
That's brutal.
So they put on a song that had like maybe a skip or it was like a rough cut.
Man, I don't know the technical side, but I know they fucked this shit up. You know what I'm saying? And it was totally their fault. So I just said that to say, you know, they always gave the West Coast a hard time from Def Jam. It was a point in time where, you know, they wouldn't even sign an artist from the West Coast until Death Row got hot, and then they hopped on Warren G and signed him, and he actually saved Def Jam from going bankrupt.
That's for sure. And I grew up loving nothing but the West. I never fucked with anybody from the East except for say DMX and maybe Wu-Tang. But I didn't.
Yeah, but no, that wasn't the point because it never was the artist.
saying, I mean, I was fucking real cool with Redman and Method Man and DMX and Eric Sermon and a whole lot of guys from the East Coast. So it never was the artist. It was the politics of being on a label from New York. You know what I'm saying? And it was the people that was running the label that was the problem.
Hey, in 2019, you released a self-titled album, James Savage.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. It's actually going to be the year anniversary of that in September. Shout out to Open Bar Entertainment, Exhibit, helping me put that together. And Rashidi and everybody that was involved, all the producers, man. It was definitely a fun project. And we got the music done first. I didn't even know it was going to be a film to it. So those that haven't heard the music under James Savage, you guys can go check that out. I have an album under James Savage. It's out on all major platforms, and a film that you can see on YouTube, or you can check out World Star Films and check the movie out. It's four episodes, broken down to 4 different episodes, and it's just like a docu-musical is what we call it. But it's off the chain, man. You guys need to check it out.
Hey, I got that. Don't worry. I had that coming up in the questions in a couple questions. Yeah. Now that was your acting debut as well, I believe, right? Yeah.
I did a movie, a short film with Snoop Dogg and the Eastsiders a while ago, and the director told Snoop that, man, this guy, you know, he really can do this. Like, he's really convincing. So I kind of wish I would have just stuck with it back then. But I'm just glad that, you know. I try to take direction from whoever I'm working with and just, you know, nail what they're asking me to do. So I feel like I can do that with any type of role. You know what I mean? It's whatever the director says, hey, man, I need this done this way. And then you just execute it until you get it right.
Who influenced you as a music artist growing up?
Oh, man, I had a lot of influences because, you know, back when I was growing up, man, everybody that was rapping, first of all, you had to be good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a bunch of bullshit out.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you wasn't getting signed with no whack shit. That shit wasn't happening. So
no mumbling and yelling.
Yeah, you feel me? So it was a lot of talent back then, right? And so I had a lot of favorite rappers, but, you know, LL was one of my favorite rappers. He still is, man. Fucking Rakim, Ice Cube. Man,
every time Gangsta's Paradise comes on, man.
You feel me? Yeah, Too Short, man. Man, the list goes on. E40, you know, it's you know, it's what we grew up on, man. Just being original. You know what I'm saying? Rap was like everybody put out a CD, but the shit was original, from Big Daddy Kane to Audio 2 to, you know, it was everybody had different type of shit, you know.
You're tuning into I Only Touch Greatness podcast, Vancouver's best show with Ryan Hayes.
Often imitated but never duplicated, I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes. Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Say Hayes sent you.
I will forever be from the street to the V, where I learn to stand tall on my own 2 feet. Vancouver, BC is a part of me. I'm from Van City, grew up in Vancouver. Way